So in this video, we're going to do a lab for the files. In Python, we actually use file objects to actually operate the files. So files is it's normally ideally for the pure text files to save the ASC code. Normally, it's the string. We save the pure string to the files. So most of the time we're using the simple application. We're using files in the simple applications. So how do we? First of all, let's first we can write a file in a current folder. So what we can do is we can so simply just write the text file and then this content. So let's try that. So we just overwriting the text that text file. So what it does is this is actually give a command write file to text. So you should be able to see in the current folder there is a file that has the current in the file. You should have hello. This is a quick test file, and so once we have that, we can start doing all the operations of the file. We can open, read, write, and close. So let's first start with open. So in Python, if you don't test if the file exists, it may give you an error if the file is not exists. If you try to open a file, for example, if we don't have whoops.txt, so when try to open it, it may say, okay, no such file in the directory. So we can test what's the current folder is. So we can run it. It tells us it's users, USI 0 Python, and it's CS299 app. So it's better to just to make sure you have that file first. So suppose we have the test.text already, then we can directly open it. So when I run this one, you see no errors. That means it's a success. And this is if we don't add any access mode, the default should be just a read, just a purely read mode. So when I just try to read the whole thing, the read that if we don't put any arguments in there, it's gonna be reading the whole document. So it's reading the whole document. In our case, we only have one row, so it's read the whole row for us. But what happens if we try to read it again? Because once we read, there should have a cursor or marker. It started from the beginning to the end of the file. When we try to read again, it's gonna tell us it's empty. It's already read it, right? Because the marker is right there. So we have to use one of the methods called the seek. We replace the marker to the very first place. It's a cursor, right? It's a cursor at the end of the file. Now we replace that cursor to the beginning of the file. That's hello. So and then now we can read again from the whole file. So and you can see it's working, right? And sometimes we can, to make sure that our files is reading from the beginning, you can actually use the files.seek 0 to place the cursor at the very beginning, and then you read the whole file into a list. In our case, we only have one row, so that's why in the list you only see one row. And then once we finish the operations, it's always a good habit to close the file, because in the operating system, the file objects are limited. You cannot use the file objects unlimited. So that will close the file. So you can use the same file object again for the future. How do we write a file? The simplest way we can write is we can specify, when we open a file, we can specify the access code. The W plus means we're going to read and write the file. If the file does not exist, we're going to actually create one. However, when we write the file, where every time we're going to write is right from the beginning of the file. So all the existing content will be first eliminated, will be deleted, and then we write it again from the beginning. So this is what we have. It's a my underscore file. We can open the file, and then we have the right file object. So here is the file object. Okay. Now we're ready to write something in the file. Okay. What's the difference between W and W plus? The W plus actually will create a new one. If there's no file, it will create one. Well, W will not. If there's no such a file in the folder, it will just give you an error. However, W and W plus, they both trunk the existing content. They eliminate the current the content and then write from the beginning. So this is we're gonna write something like this is the new line. So what we write is 18 characters, and then we are reading the whole file again from the beginning, and then it's give us this is a new line. So you see from originally this is the content, now becomes this is a new line. And when we are going to close the file, and then that's it. We can append the file. We can append file by just change that W plus to A plus. This basically means we're going to read and write the file, and then if the file is not exist, so we're going to create one. And also A means append, means we're going to add the new content to the existing file, so it's extended the current file, and then so without trunk the existing content. So now we write for the last one, we write 23 characters, and then we're going to see what is the content for the file now. And you see, once I read the whole thing, it's going to have 3 rows. And again, I want to have a good habit. I close the file. And what if I want to append with the command write file? You will have to use -A. -A means we are appending the content to the existing file. So if I'm executing this one, this 3 lines will be added. So then we can actually see the content now if you want to see it. We can iterate through the file. Suppose I want to write a file, the first line, second line. Here, let me see. Let me show you what's the current file content is. So I'm gonna just simply use this line. We can just use this one. We can see what's the content. So you will see that I actually add 2 more lines from the previous content, and the same thing, I can iterate through the file, and I can write a new so I will trunk the previous content, and then add line 1 and line 2. You see, I run this, then I check what's the new content. I have these 2 lines now. So all the previous lines will be eliminated. So when you write the files, be very, very careful, know what you're doing, and then that's the basic operations of the file. And the next, we're gonna spend the rest of time for the trivia game. It's a challenge. Probably many of you played the trivia game already. So here, let's just try one. Let's first run it, and then get a direct feeling about what's a trivia game. So I'm gonna run. So press Enter key to exit. Unable to open the file trivia.txt. So look like I don't have the trivia.txt in my folder yet. So what I will do is I will actually I want to actually find the file, and then let's run this again. Okay, now I have the file. So what I will do is we're going to run this application again and see. So we're going to see press and enter key to exit. Now let's run this again. So what is your answer? Type quit to end the game. Welcome to the trivia game, trivial challenge. So guide the program with the Python trivia game. The chapter 1, get started. So which of the following is the proper way to use a comment? So how do we use a comment? Should we type a comment or use the star or use the // or use this one? So what I'm gonna type number 1. What do you think? So I'm gonna type 1. So my answer is 1, and it says right, and we actually you create a comment, use the hash symbol. That's actually the comments, right? I got a score for 10 points, and for chapter 1, get started, and then I have so for this one, what is our answer? So Python was developed by Guild Van, I think Rossum. I think that's correct, in 1991, right? So I think that's true. So I type enter, and my answer is correct again. I got 5 points, and you can keep on playing this. It's like a challenge, right? At the end, you probably won something. It's like a quiz or survey. So this is the basic idea how we can do it. And if I show you what is our file, and you can see our trivia, it's actually a file. We have this file. So those are the guide. So that's the title. And then we have the chapter 1. That's also that's the two of those are the pretty much like a beginning of the questions, and then this is actually the question, and then we use these are the options, 1 2 3 4 options, and then we have the answers, right? That's the answer, that's the score, and that's the comment, and then we have another question, and then you have the question itself, and then we have 2 options, then we have the answer, points, and this is the another comments or notes for the answers, and this is another question. So you will see actually I format all my questions in this way, so it's like a test bank, right? So if we go back to this one, how do we implement this this whole thing in just less than probably 100 lines of code? We can do that. So first of all, the basic logic of the whole thing is we will first read the file, and then we will get the 9 for the title, and then print out the welcome message, and then set the beginning of the score as 0, and then we can start to actually get to the next block. The next block is going to give us so we unpackage the whole thing, the block. We have category, questions, answers, correct, explanation, and point of values, and so this one apparently is important. We pass the file object to this next block. So the next block is basically read all those files and then extract the next block. And the next block is defined right here. The first one, we're going to get the next 9 of the file. So we get a category, and then we are going to get the point of value, and then we get the question. And so, and the question actually is just to read the next 9. And next line is just to read one particular line, and so we get the question, and then we're gonna get an answer. We get the answers for one question. We may have multiple answers. So again, for the answer, we actually get next line. We get one answer. We just append it, and if the answer is true, false question, then we know we are going to probably have one more. So we just append another line. So that will be our false. And then if it's not true false, then that means it's multiple choice questions. So we're going to loop the rest of the three answers. So we get the answers, then we get the next one. That will be the correct answer. So we get the correct answer by here, and then we're going to get the points. We get the points, and then we get the explanation, and then we return the whole thing as a tuple, the whole thing. So that will return everything, and here we get the whole thing. And then for the category, as long as we have the category, will be right here, and then we can actually print it out. This part is for display, right? We're going to print out the category and questions and answers, and then we ask the user, we get the user's answer, and then we're going to get the if the answer is quit, then we're quitting the whole game. If the answer is the correct answer, then we get the answer, right? And then so if it's wrong, we get the wrong. We don't subtract the score for the wrong answer, and then we print out explanation, and then print out the score, and then we get a next block until the whole thing is done. That will give us the long category, which will be false, and then that will be finished the whole game, and then we close it, right? And then we print that was the last question, and your final score is this. So this is actually the whole game, and I think this is definitely doable for us. So probably we can do it from scratch, and just challenge you if yourself can do the whole game. That's all for the night part.